Hey friends, welcome back to Learning Made Fun, your ultimate destination for IT training content. Today, get ready to learn how to create a database in SQL Server. Now, whether you're a newcomer or a long-time subscriber, I've got some exciting and informative content lined up just for you. Grab those snacks, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump right into it, my friends. Well, welcome back. We're going to continue our journey learning SQL Server Management Studio. If we look on the Object Explorer on the left-hand side, we'll notice that we have three items here. Each one of these is a SQL Server instance, and I'm just going to disconnect from them all, and we're going to start fresh. So right now we're inside of this graphic user interface, but we don't have any connections to any SQL Server instances. If we go to Connect and Database Engine, we can go to the server name and we can actually browse to see what we have available. So the first thing that's actually being broadcasted is this one here on Yoda 2019. And let's go and try to connect via the SQL Server authentication. We're going to use the SA account. And let's connect. Now we can right mouse button click on the name of that and find out that this is a named instance. So whenever we install it, we can give it a default name or we can give it a defined name. So that's what we actually call it, a named instance. And this one I named the server that I installed it on. This is installed on a Windows Server 2019 Essentials Windows Server box. And if we go and expand our databases, it looks like it's fresh. There's nothing in there. And because we use the SA account, I want to go down to security and just show you the logins. And this is the account that we're logged in as. All right, and we're just going to leave it there for now. But I also want to show you that we can manage more than one instance. So for example, I'm going to go to this 120. Now notice the difference here. I have the host name, or I can connect via the IP address. And so I'm going to connect to my second instance via the IP address. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go down to the properties. And this one is not on a Windows server. This is on a Linux Ubuntu server. This one's also a named instance, SQL 2019, Microsoft SQL Server Express. There's an Express edition, there is a Standard edition, there's an Enterprise edition, and a Developer edition. And we'll talk about those in a later video. But for now, on today's training, we're going to be on a SQL Server Express instance. And so we have a Windows and a Linux. And let's see what else we can connect to right now. We can also connect to, I think, this one right here. Sorry, that was 27. There we are. So on this one, same thing. Let's go to the properties. And this is also on a Linux server. So we're inside of one graphic user interface called Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, where we can have this graphic interface and we can manage one instance or multiple instances. So because we don't have any databases yet in here, I think we did on the second one. My apologies, on the third one. So it looks like we have a couple of databases that we've been working with. So right now I want to show you this AdventureWorks 2019. This is one that you can actually download for free. I'll have the link down below for more information. What I wanted to show you right now on this one is that we can go to task. We can back this up. So that's the name of the database. And let's find out where we're gonna remove the default. I want to add a location. And let's go see what we have mounted. All right, so we have a backup folder in our mount drive, and then we're just going to call this training. Let's call it what it is. So if we want to make sure that the backup matches, you can actually click on it again, and then just right mouse button click, copy the name. And let's go back to that task where we were backing it up. Go to that folder. Looks like we already have a couple of backups in there from training from before. That's actually in a different location. Let's leave it with everything else. So we're going to paste the name. So now we're backing it up. And you want to make sure that you add the extension of .bak. And now if something happens, that should really be all you need. If something happens to this database and we mess it up, we corrupt it, or we damage it somehow, we can bring it back in. So say, for example, right now, if I accidentally delete it, let's close this connection. Because I had a backup of it, I can go and retrieve it. So let's just go and say restore database. Device, let's go look for it. This is the one we just backed up, AdventureWorks 2019.backup. All right, let's say OK. It's bringing it in. Database restored successfully. So it's always a good idea to back these up on a regular basis in case anything happens. We're going to talk in a different video about mirroring these, and in those cases, not only do you want to back up the database, you also want to back up the logs. But for now, I'd say always back these up on a regular basis in case anything goes wrong. You can restore it. Great. So we talked about SSMS, Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, being the graphic user interface that allows us to import multiple instances so that we can work on multiple instances at the same time. We also talked about looking at in the properties window to see if it was a named instance. In this case, it's on a Windows server, and the other two are actually on a Linux server, and we also learned how to back it up. One more thing, let's go into this new training, I believe it was, and we're going to go down into a table. Okay, so this is going to be, we're going to go into a table. You can have one table or many tables for a database. In this one, we're just going to do the select top 100 rows. And I notice that this row right here, row 72, has a an anomaly. This looks different than everything else, and so does Paul. So let's see if we can update those right now. We're going to try to fix this. Because this was actually imported as a text file, you can have different ways to delineate the data. And so this one just needs to be fixed. So we want to do something called an update. So I want to update this information. So here I have a commented out update artist name on Paul Young. I want to update my table called Music Hits. I want to set the artist name to Paul Young because I want to fix that. And I'm telling it where the year is 1986 and the album name is set to No Parlez. So let's see if this works. Let's grab this and execute it. It says one row affected. So now let's go and select that again. And let's look for Paul. Actually, let's look for him. So where artist name is equal to Paul Young. Let's just go right to him. Perfect. So we've fixed that little anomaly that we had in there. Now that wasn't the only one. We had a second one in here that had something similar. So if we scroll down, it looks like the other one that had an issue was, there it is, the rolling stone. So we want to fix that anomaly as well. So just like before with Paul Young, the artist name, let's go ahead and fill that in, the rolling stone, and his year is 1989, and his album is the Rolling Stones. So let's update that right here, the Rolling Stones. So this is line item number 72, so we can get to it a little bit quicker. So now, even though this is commented from before, we just updated, if you would, the update command. We said update music hits, which is our table, and we're trying to fix, once again, row 72, this one item right here, this one cell. So now let's run it, see what happens. We're going to execute that, and it says one row is affected, how long it took. Let's go run that again. Now this time we know it's row 72, so let's just see if we can scroll right to that, because that shouldn't have changed. So here we highlighted row 72, and it looks like we fixed that anomaly. So that's no longer there. But let's just say we forgot what number that row was, then we could just go ahead and ask for that again. So we would say the Rolling Stone. And so we would actually query just that one record where artist name is the Rolling Stone. And there it is. Now here it shows row number 1 because it's just a single one. But if we query the entire list and we go down to number 72, there it is. So we learned to use the update command whenever you find any problems with your records. Instead of going back to the original source, you can just update the table right here. Let's do one more just for fun, since we're getting the hang of it. So number 5 is called U2. Let's make that U3 just for the sake of learning how to use this command. So under the artist name, we're going to say U3. The year is 1987. Practice makes perfect, they say. The album is called The Joshua Tree. So let's enter that here, the Joshua Tree. And that one is row number 5. I'll have to remember that. All right, so now let's go and look for number 5, and there it is. We updated that one cell, the artist name. So now let's put it back because we don't want to be disrespectful to the U2. So let's put it back, execute that command. Let's go back and query it. That was number 5, and we put the artist name back to U2. So that concludes today's video. Thanks for learning with me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.